Good morning. Welcome back into Wake Up America. I'm Rob Finnerty. In 1979, Pope John Paul II became the first pope to visit a Nazi concentration camp. 7 years later, in 1986, 35 years ago today, Pope John Paul II made his first ever official papal visit to a Jewish house of worship. And joining us now to talk about this historic moment is Catholic priest and the founder of platinggrace.com, Father Leo Patalinghug, and the managing director of the Coalition for Jewish Values, Rabbi Yaakov Menken. Gentlemen, so nice to have you back on the show together, by the way, appropriately on this 35th anniversary of what was a very historic day. Father Leo, I'd like to start with you. While the 2 miles between the Vatican and Rome's Great Synagogue are a very short walk, about a 20-minute walk, the significance of the Pope's visit was absolutely enormous. Take us back to 1986. What did this mean?
This basically meant that he had to cross the Tiber River, which actually has a lot of significance. It's almost as if we have to cross the track, so to speak, to meet our neighbors in what is known as the Jewish ghetto. It's not an insult. It's actually a word that means foundry, because our Jewish brothers and sisters who lived in that part of the world were just craftsmen, and they were actually part of a foundry of the Roman culture. But really, it is a fulfillment of what was proclaimed in 1965 in a document of Vatican II's document called Nostra Aetate, which basically wanted to improve our relationships with non-Christian religions. And it's also a reality that we have always recognized our Jewish brothers and sisters as, in a sense, the people of the covenant, the chosen people, our older brothers and sisters, as our Holy Father has said. And so it's really trying to forge a relationship with the other religions that are also coming from the Abrahamic faith. We have to know that if we believe in the true God, we must be peaceful and loving with each other.
Rabbi Menken, Pope John Paul II, he joined the synagogue's chief rabbi that day. They hugged. They seemed to be they definitely had a relationship, especially when you watch the video. This wasn't the first time they had ever met, which was clear and sort of charming in and of itself. But what did this mean for the Jewish community around the world?
Well, Pope John Paul II took the doctrine of Nostra Aetate and turned it into pragmatic, practical reality by actually walking into a synagogue with peaceful intent. From what as we're talking about, the first time that had ever happened, creating a groundbreaking new relationship between the Catholic Church and the Jewish community, which had been, let's just say the previous 2,000 years hadn't been universally nearly so positive. There's a history of Judaism in Europe, which is dominated by unpleasant interaction with the Catholic Church. And this changed the entire picture. And it was a truly glorious moment created by John Paul II in his courage.
And we should say Pope John Paul II died in April of 2005. Father Leo, the Pope John Paul II, he's a saint now. He belongs to the ages, of course. But what was it about him that made him so unique and so special? He was a little bit different.
He knew that there was a bigger enemy, and he knew that the true enemy are not the people who believe in God, but those who don't believe in God, those who want to play God in the form of government. And so his role and responsibility is to shepherd all people, but at the same time, be a true spiritual leader for those who say, as Christians, we have to love one another and learn from one another. So as this saint has shown by example, it actually is a continuation of even what St. Paul VI had done and previous pontiffs who did what they could to help the Jewish people during the time of the Holocaust. So as my brother Rabbi has said, the tensions were very real, but at the very heart of it, was it truly religious? Might it have been cultural? Might it have been influenced by politics and other things? Yes. And so at the heart, we got to realize that if one believes in God, we must learn to love one another.
Rabbi Menken, we don't have a ton of time left, about 30 seconds, but back to politics now with so much going on. I've got to ask this. The Vatican first recognized the State of Israel in the early 1990s. Religion and politics are tied together so closely. I don't think people are aware of that in their everyday lives, are they?
Well, people have to understand, and especially look at the friendship that was created between the Catholic Church and the Jewish community by Pope John Paul II. and look at that as a model for what could be. But absolutely, we are seeing even today religion being employed as a weapon rather than a genuine tool of belief. And this type of revolutionary behavior can absolutely be found in, political sphere, even today. The fact that peace is at hand.
Father Leo Patalinghug and Rabbi Yaakov Menken, such a pleasure having you both on together. Plenty more to come here, and we hope to see you again very soon. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.